we have some zucchini, but again, when you talk about damage, here you go, look. So this little bit would make it damaged product, but look, there's all you gotta do is just boop, look, perfectly good produce, right? So, and if there's any dirt, you just take a rag and wipe it right off, okay? So your produce will vary for your guys' snack kits, but we will always have fresh produce available. And if it's something like a zucchini or a squash, the seeds are okay to eat, but too much seed isn't that great. So we're just gonna cut little wedges off for each one. And you can save this for whatever, but for me, I like the nutrition you get from the skin. So we're gonna do just some nice thick strips. And you wanna keep them thick so that when you're dipping them later in the ranch we're gonna make, they don't fall apart and break on you. So once you get them all cut to the right length, we're just gonna cut them in half. And now we've got some beautiful little stick veggies. And if there's some really small ones, you can get rid of them. And then for peppers, again, things like this wouldn't get picked because you see this big curve. People in the grocery store wouldn't buy those. So there's nothing wrong with it. It's a beautiful pepper. And all we're gonna do is we're gonna cut off all of the sides. We're gonna cut off the base of it. And then we're gonna cut in here. And then if you want, you can take your knife and you can just kind of rub it, like slide it back and forth all along that inner membrane. There's nothing wrong with it. It just doesn't have the same sweetness. It's a little more bitter. So if you want, you can take your knife and just cut that out. Just make sure when it's close to you, you're cutting away from you. So if the knife slips, it doesn't go into your finger. That's no good. So same thing here. We're just gonna take our knife, cut that little membrane out. Once we do that, we're just gonna, again, do nice kind of thick slices. These you don't want too thin either, or they won't be as easy to dip. And if it's really curvy like this, something you can do is just open it up a little bit and flatten it out before you start cutting your pieces. Same thing with this one, there's a big curve in it, so just flatten it out. Okay, and again, same thing here, just flatten it out. If it breaks, don't worry about it. Just gonna cut some nice strips. That's all good. So there's some more veggies. And then with carrots, you can use a carrot peeler, which works, but you can also just use the flat side of your knife and you can just go like this. The nice thing is about doing it that way, do you see how little carrot peelings we have? If we were to use a carrot peeler on this, it would have taken off so much of that good yummy carrot. So again, same thing. If you want to use a carrot peeler, you can use those too because they're way safer. But if you want to try it this way, this is the way most chefs will do it. Again, because it uses the most amount of the product. So again, if you have a little bit of like brown or something like that, just cut it off, no big deal. And then all of this shavings and stuff, like what we'll do in the restaurant is all of this could be used for vegetable stock. So we can make stocks out of it. And, I always believe in using all my product if at all possible. And then once we have that, we're just gonna cut off the end and then we'll cut it in half. And we'll cut it into sticks again, just like we do with everything. Nice little sticks. And then again, we'll cut them into the same kind of size for that. And then this is one of my favorite vegetables. This is called broccolini. And broccolini is in the broccoli family, but it was actually engineered to be like this. So the stalks are really yummy and crunchy and they're not too mealy like a regular broccoli. And they actually eat more like asparagus does. And so for these, they're also really easy to prep. What I like to do When I eat my broccoli, because I like the stem, is just find in the middle. You're just gonna kind of take your knife and put it down the middle just to break up the stem a little bit. And then you're gonna do the same thing going all the way up the middle. So you're left with kind of some thin, long stalks to eat. You can do that again too. Once you've cut it, it'll be flat and it'll be easier for your knife to cut through. So again, kind of split it and then right down the middle, and then we'll just pull and separate. And you have these nice long florets. So that's another great way. So those are just some easy, simple veggie cuts. And what you guys get in your box may be a little different because we're always using different vegetable produce, but you should end up with some really beautiful, yummy, crunchy things.